So I did a video on the modes of material nature. So if you haven't seen that, go look at that so you'll have an understanding of what the modes of material nature is and how to identify some of the aspects of it. In this video, I'm going to elaborate on it a little more as to how to use it. Um, so according to Indian culture, um, there are only three beings who were able to master and conquer the modes of material nature, and that would be Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu. Those are the three who've mastered the modes of material nature. Um, if you are looking or thinking that you should also master the modes of material nature, it is you are capable of doing so, but to pursue such a thing, you have your end goal needs to be about spiritual enlightenment. If you're trying to conquer the modes of material nature um, for anything else, day-to-day living, or for relationships, improving relationships with women or anybody else for that matter, it's not really a practical solution for daily life. Um, it requires a significant amount of penance, and I'm not talking about self-punishment, but I'm talking about discipline. And again, it's really, if you're going to go that route, the path is mainly for spiritual growth and spiritual enlightenment, not necessarily for practical everyday use applications. Um, because the modes of material nature is similar to an influencer, like a YouTube influencer. We're born, but this except we're born under the influence of the modes of material nature, and like an influencer, like a YouTube influencer, like myself, um, you may. This is like the simplest example I could give, so you could understand the modes of material nature. Is that we talk and give you ideas and suggestions and stuff. You take that information, you're kind of influenced by us, and you apply to your life. You see things work, so you come back to us and look for more stuff. But the idea uh, is that you are still free and have the ability to break free from our influence. It doesn't mean that you can't use the stuff that we've done as a foundation, that we've taught you as a foundation to build, but by going on your own and doing your own thing and applying it in your own way and experimenting, you can break free of the influence of us, just like how we can break free from the influence of the mode of material nature. We have to go out there and think of it, navigate it on our own. But you still have to be aware that it exists. I hope that makes sense. And if not, just ask a question in the comment section down below, and I'll try to answer it a little bit better. But understand the modes of material nature, we are influenced by it, but we're not enslaved to it, and therefore we have the ability to navigate life, being aware it's there, but not being influenced by it. Because the mode of material nature, one of the side effects of it is false ego. And an example of false ego is, I'll give a simple one from yesterday. I was coaching this young man. His mother came in, and she's very beautiful. And while we were leaving, I happened to be leaving at the same time as her. I turned to my kids who were in my care that I raised professionally and say, "Hey, do you all want to go to the boat?" And I deliberately say loud enough for her to hear, so I could gain more of her attention. And she did. I did gain her that attention, but I immediately realized that I was operating in the mode of material nature, for false ego. Because if you're using your material gain to attract a woman or to sell yourself, that's really the wrong way to go. You sell yourself based on the merits of who you are, the content of your character. Another example is there's this coach that comes and goes. I've seen him over the years. He's out there pumping himself up as this great coach, again operating in a mode of material nature, feeding that false ego. So I was able to by navigating that, was able to keep myself free from the entanglement of the modes of material nature when engaging other people, and when I myself fall short and do the same thing, which would ultimately lead to some misery. Now, on the topic of misery, again, if you want to pursue master the modes of material nature, it comes with a significant amount of misery, because again, it's really more, to do that you really have to be on a path of spiritual enlightenment, not necessarily everyday practical use. So just be mindful of that when, if you decide to go that route. And you could look at again, books, ancient books, even the Bible talks about it in some form or another. But I find the Indian Sanskrit texts, they're a little more clear, a little more detail in it. So again, the book I would suggest is the volumes of book with the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's a good source for that information. But you do not want to be influenced by the modes of, just be aware that the influence is there and you can navigate that. So if you have any questions, ask it in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, share it if you think it can help someone else. How do you apply it? Now that you're aware of the mode of material nature, the fact that it's an influence, you can be aware of it and navigate through it. Say you want to be in a relationship with a woman, or you're already in a relationship with a woman. This is not necessarily just pure MGTOW, but it might be easier if you're in MGTOW to be able to do this, because now you're alone by yourself. So you could look internally at yourself, self-meditate and self-grow. It's a little easier. But say you're in a relationship, or you're looking to be in a relationship, you have the MGTOW mindset already, you're not taking a whole lot of crap, you're not softening, you're true to who you are as a man, and not doing things just to grab the attention of women or to keep the attention of women. By understanding, being aware that this false ego does exist, you can see when a woman is operating in one of the three modes of material nature, and you'll be able to make a more conscious decision to either engage her or walk away. I do not believe in walking away permanently. We still have, as MGTOW men going our own way, still have to engage, not necessarily women and men, and have relationships with both women and men in the business world, in our personal lives, not necessarily in an intimate situation always. Sometimes you have, if we do engage a woman in that way, again, you can still navigate a relationship the MGTOW way and still be able to utilize the knowledge of the modes of material nature when interacting, reacting, right? Interacting and or reacting to something that the woman is doing or saying, or the men or the society is doing or saying in a small social structure. So that is where I think it's a practical application. Again, I gave two examples earlier in the video of how I felt, the modes of material nature that feed that false ego. You'll be able to engage that. And say, for instance, the relationship fails, you have a better understanding that it's the mode of material nature that's feeding false ego that a lot of people are enslaved to. And then you can walk away less disgruntled and still self-sufficient, and you can still grow and still be happy because you're navigating the modes of material nature. You're not trying to conquer it, and you're certainly not trying to be enslaved by it. You're just aware of it, you're broken free from it, and now you can move forward. Again, like, subscribe, share the video if you think it will help somebody else. Hit the notification bell. Again, ask questions in the comment section down below, and you all have a good day.